Hello, guys, and welcome back to Unrestricted Sports. Today we are covering the Eastern Conference playoffs and how we see them going. Once again, I'm going to let Nolan start us off here as he has the brackets made out of what he thinks is going to happen. Then I'm just going to comment on that because obviously we had some pretty differing opinions in our Western Conference video. Make sure you go check that out. The link will be in the description of the video. Nolan,
I'm gonna
go
start.
ahead.
I'm gonna start this one out a little bit different than the Western Conference one, and that's because I think the one seed and the two seed in the East um, are too dominant for who they're playing against, and then we'll get to the middle of the pack for the East. But 1v8, we have Bucks Magic. I have the Bucks taking this in 4. I think that's not a shocker to anybody, barring any unforeseen circumstances that either the Magic show out in some profound fashion or the Bucks implode and Giannis, breaks every bone in his body. I don't see the Magic winning the game.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. The East is definitely a lot less open than the West is, and so for that reason, Bucks are definitely winning this series. I don't know if I'd say 4. I think you have to give people at least 5, but I could see 4 definitely. Because I mean, the Bucks are just so much better than the Magic. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
East always has. It seems like one good team in the West has a lot of really good teams. So I
yeah.
mean, I say the Bucks are that team this year, and I think they're probably going to be the representative for the Eastern Conference come finals time.
Yeah. A similar series, kind of like Bucks Magic, is Raptors Nets. I see Raptors taking this in 5. I gave the Nets a game. They kind of showed out in the bubble a little bit in some of those earlier games. Karis LeVert obviously is a proven talent so far in the bubble, at least. So I have them taking it at least a game. I don't really see the Nets contending in this series at all. I think the Raptors depth and grit is too much compared to the Nets.
I think that the Raptors definitely have the experience, no doubt there. But that being said, the Nets are incredibly hot, and they really have shown on the bubble despite missing some of their best players due to opt outs and obviously Katie. So, with that being said, I'm going to say Toronto in 7 games because I think these Nets players are really going to show out in this playoffs, and even though they aren't going to win, they're going to show a lot of spirit with it, and I think they're going to take it right to the game 7 with the Raptors.
I could see that. I think that Raptors team, though, a lot of people look at that championship they won and say, "Oh well, Kawhi Leonard." I think that they're really focused on trying to, obviously, they're appreciative of Kawhi Leonard's assistance, but I think the Raptors probably could have won that championship without him. Um, and I don't think the mass media really believes that, and I think that's what the Raptors are.
I definitely disagree with you.
What that they could have won without Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi was the piece that they needed to win that
Yeah,
championship.
but I still think they could win it without him.
No,
No doubt.
no.
I
You need to
mean,
start.
I mean, we'll see, obviously, but like the Raptors, the Raptors are that team where you look at it and you go, okay, well, there's really no, star player like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, yada yada yada. But they have enough of those secondary pieces, similar to what Anthony Davis is to LeBron James, that that could be enough to carry them. But yeah, I don't see them struggling against the Nets by any means.
Well, we'll see. I disagree, but
So moving into the middle of the East in what are going to be, I believe, two very interesting series. We'll start off with the 4v5 with the Pacers against the Heat.
the Heat are an
I
interesting team for me.
Yeah, I don't just want
I
to
could
hand it to the Heat because the Pacers could definitely show up. I think Victor Oladipo didn't have the strongest games early in the bubble. Um, I think TJ Warren needs to help out a lot for that team to win this series. But I really, really like Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and that entire Heat's team.
Yeah, I really think that the Miami Heat, no pun intended, have the hot hand here.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I just think that they have a better overall team, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So if I had to, it's going to be close. I think this one definitely goes 7 games, but I think I'm going to lean Heat on that one in
Yeah.
7 games.
I would agree with you on that. I think it's going to be close. Barring any unforeseen heroic plays from Victor Oladipo, I think the Heat.
Yeah.
I think
The
the
Pacers,
Heat are definitely the favorites.
I think the Pacers' best hope here is that Victor Oladipo really goes off. I think he has to drive the team forward for them to beat the Heat here.
I agree. So personally, I think this would have been a much closer series if I still have this series going 7 games. But I think it is very clear to give this series to the Celtics over the Sixers due to the fact that Ben Simmons was sent home to have surgery on his knee, I believe it was.
That is
Um,
fair.
so I don't want to count the Sixers out because of the loss of Ben Simmons, but they definitely are at a disadvantage.
I mean, this
Um,
is something that really annoys me too, because let's be real here. The Celtics haven't impressed. Like
yeah, no,
all year, you've heard. I mean, people have been talking, right? Like they aren't really that dominant. They aren't the old Celtics who used to be able to challenge like LeBron.
right,
Guys. These aren't the same Celtics anymore. They're kind of relying on that old brand Celtics to cover up what they are now. And I think that's really just that they're good enough that they can beat up on the bad teams, but they aren't going to beat any of the good teams, really.
I would agree with
Um,
you.
in normal situations, if Ben Simmons didn't get sent home, I was going to choose the Sixers. Obviously, it was going to be in 7 games, but the Sixers would have been my choice. But with Ben Simmons being out, that puts a lot of pressure on the remaining guys, and I don't know if they can, fill the shoes of Ben Simmons. Obviously, people make jokes about his 3-point, but he really was a big part of that team. So for me, I think it's still 7 games because I think the Sixers are still going to try really hard here. But I think the Boston Celtics are going to advance. I just don't think that it's going to be continuous for them where they continue to advance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I might be wrong, but I don't think they're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think it's super super interesting. Um, the Sixers have the talent to go far, um, and to beat the Celtics. I mean, Tobias Harris hasn't been his usual self as of late. It seems like Joel Embiid, obviously, still one of the best centers in the league. Um, I mean, honestly, the Sixers have the depth to replace what Ben Simmons was. Um, and I'm a little biased here simply because of the YouTube videos he posts. And that's Matisse Thybulle. I don't know if you really know him. He's a rookie. He's not like super dominant by any means. But he's going to probably get the starting job in place of Ben Simmons. And I would imagine that starting a rookie in that type of situation, he would be able to produce not the exact same, but to a similar effect that Ben Simmons would have. Enough so that a guy like Tobias Harris or Joel Embiid could really dominate and carry that team. But I think the 76ers are going to be too shook without Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I think that definitely has an impact on the team's morale too, because it's not just about it's not like you're replacing a machine part here. You're replacing a person who had a big sway in that locker room. So
Yeah,
I think that's definitely going to hurt them a lot.
I'd agree with that.
But with that being said, that is the conclusion of our Eastern Conference final, or not our Eastern Conference Finals video. We'll have that out when the finals finally roll around. But of our Eastern Conference playoff breakdown for the first round. And we'll see how it goes. We will do a recap on this once we get to the second round of play. And yeah, we will see you guys next time.